So I'm now joined by Dr. Rebecca Grant, national security and military analyst, former State Department official and senior advisor to Trump and Bush 43 administration, Christian Whiton, and retired Army general, author of The Total Empire, Anthony Tata. Thanks so much for joining the program. To all of you, Dr. Grant, I want to go to you first. Talk about some of the nuts and bolts here. How do we get to this point? I know there has been some disagreements with this militia on the way that they were doing the military strategy. Did this just finally boil over?
It did. It boiled over. Prigozhin has been screaming for months that Shoigu and Gerasimov and Putin are running the war the wrong way. Look at all those Russian deaths. And he wants things done differently. He's a loose cannon. He made a big gamble to try to put pressure on Putin to do it his way, and Prigozhin lost. But in doing so, Putin is much weaker.
General, I want to go to you first. Second, I'm sorry. There's been a lot of talk with, you have people that are talking on social media, different speculating. Can you speak to what is in this deal?
Yeah, sure, Lawrence. Great to be with you. Thank you. What the deal looks like is, there's probably some kind of financial commitment, Prigozhin. The key is that he is allowed to have sanctuary in Belarus. He's not going to be shot between the eyes, which everybody was predicting. His soldiers that joined the rebellion will also be pardoned, and his soldiers that were fighting and stayed in Ukraine and chose not to participate will be given army contracts. And that's the essence of the deal. But I'll tell you what really was happening here is Lukashenko in Belarus and Putin and Russia were feeling the heat that they were going to have a mini moment like we had back in 1989 in the Berlin Wall, because there was momentum and foment within the streets, and there were the people that were supporting this rebellion were wanting to go after Putin in Moscow and then Belarus, Lukashenko. So Lukashenko and Putin stemmed the tide here and struck a deal, which now they can get back to business as they want to do in Ukraine.
Christian, Prigozhin was lethal. He was worse than Putin. I mean, when you see the bodies that are stacked up in Ukraine, some of the heads that are literally on stakes, this is the guy that was doing that. If he had it his way, he would have attacked Kyiv as well. So where do we go from here now? What does Putin do next, now that he doesn't have that mercenary there that almost wanted to inflict more pain than he did?
Yeah, well, two things. First, I think, with Prigozhin, it's a reminder to be careful what you wish for in Russia. The U.S. government, quite frankly, the West wants a different leader in Russia, but there are actually people who potentially are worse than Vladimir Putin. The people who would challenge him from power, some of them are just plain old Russian nationalists that he has in prison, and others are generally people who are quite evil. But he is weakened politically, so people will be looking around for other opponents. As for the war, the Wagner Group was actually the most effective, seemingly, in repelling Ukraine. They're in the midst of a counterattack, if you will, the spring counterattack that's happening in summer. It's not going well. They haven't made much progress. I'm sure they're going to be prodding to see if whatever area of the front is vacated by departing Wagner forces, if in fact this deal does get executed the way it's been announced. Which is the information we have is coming from Moscow, so take it with a grain of salt. But we'll see if that change factors on the ground. I kind of doubt it will, but we don't have to wait and see.
Yeah. Dr. Grant, I want to ask you something, and I know you can't get into the mind of Putin, but some have speculated that this could have been a part of Putin's master plan. Do you buy any of the?
It could be, and we know one thing. We know NATO didn't set this up, but my sense is this was too far. They went too far up that highway from Rostov-on-Don to Moscow, and I don't think Putin wanted that to happen. Also, keep in mind, this looks real bad from China's perspective to see a rogue army heading towards the capital. capital. This did not raise Putin's standing with Xi Jinping in China. So no, I don't think Putin planned it to unfold quite this way.
Yeah. General, lastly, because you have the experience, and sometimes we work with freedom fighters that happen to be our enemies as well. But can you explain to our audience why the United States government would not work with this mercenary?
Well, Wagner Group is brutal. They have an atrocious record in Syria and Africa and in Ukraine. They're 40 to 50,000 strong. This isn't just a few guys in SUVs driving around with machine guns. This is an army, and this was the threat that Lukashenko and Putin saw. And they're led by a very bad guy and very bad people. They've got several special forces commanders that have joined their team, and they are absolutely ruthless, but effective if what you want is to have, the 3 yards in a cloud of dust, the trench warfare in Ukraine. So they're bad people, and certainly we would want nothing to do with them. And in fact, we've had minor skirmishes with them in the Middle East. So good riddance to this team. The real question, Lawrence, is Ukraine, did they exploit this operational advantage on the ground now that the Prigozhin is not there anymore, and the troops are thinned out, and they're on their spring offensive? So is there an opportunity here for Ukraine to pursue and break out?
I guess we'll have to see. Panel, thanks so much for joining me for this breaking news.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.